This exhibition contains 27 works by Paul Anthony Harford, a British artist who died in 2016 and was virtually unknown in his lifetime. Harford's work was only shown for the first time earlier this year at Focal Point Gallery in Southend-on-Sea. He made hundreds of drawings over the course of his life, but only a fraction of these now survive, and the current exhibition features works made exclusively in graphite from the last 20 years of his life. Harford studied at Byamshore School of Art in the late 1960s and engaged deeply with the history of art throughout his life, but he continually resisted opportunities to exhibit his drawings, sharing them only with his immediate family. Paul Anthony Harford lived for many years in the seaside towns of Southend and Weymouth, and these settings came to inform the mood and the subjects of many of his drawings. Living with his young family in Southend in the 1970s, he worked for over a decade as a school teacher, but he ultimately found that this role impeded his ability to focus on his own work. Subsequently, he took work as a cleaner, bin man, and a hospital porter, and these experiences and the people he encountered during them filter into many of his works. The exhibition focuses on drawings in which the artist portrayed himself or his mother. Harford is a recurring character in his works. We see him in the middle of ordinary activities, such as stepping out of a car, shaving, or raiding the fridge at night time. Here he is cleaning a nightclub in Weymouth, a job he did for a number of years, and the banal activity seems to have tipped into something surreal. He's wearing a pair of giant wings. In the background as well, there's a giant hand, which might be a seaside curiosity, something he'd seen on the promenade, or something even from the interior of the nightclub, or it could just be something straight from his imagination. In this work, he portrays himself at the end of his bed, bent over his drawing board, and this was his usual mode of working. Once he retired, he would spend all day like this, drawing for up to 8 hours at a time. In other works, he is turned away or partially obscured, for example, as he sweeps the pavement, or sits here in front of an electric fire, his head propped from view. In this work, a view through a doorway reveals a man slumped on the road beside a crumpled carrier bag. It's an ambiguous image, like many of Harford's works, but this figure of the sleeping man recurs throughout his drawings, along with other motifs: seagulls, dogs, buses, trains, and then more personal subjects, including the artist's mother, and all of these imbue his work with the quality of a disjointed story. Harford's drawings of his mother often show her asleep, and they include works of her frail and asleep during her final days. There's a poignancy about these works, and also a sense of stillness and dilated time, of waiting almost. Harford's works often veered between social realism, capturing fragments of reality, and a kind of wry, wayward surrealism, always realised with a minutely detailed style and a subtle tonal range. Placid scenes often seem to tilt into something more sinister or more ambivalent. Here, for example, he portrays himself on the seaside in front of a funeral hearse whose boot has flipped open.